Ever find yourself scratching your head, wondering how the government can push policies that seem to go against everyone? How it seems to march to its own beat, clearly out of sync with the will of the people? How the sheer numbers somehow don't translate into real change? Well, you're not alone. So today, we unravel a perplexing paradox in our democratic systems. Stick around, because what you're about to discover may change the very foundations of your understanding of democracy. Let's dive deep into the paradox. Picture this: 300 million people that, if asked, wouldn't support the government spending a fortune on a lavish piece of infrastructure. Yet, the infrastructure gets built. Why? It all boils down to one thing: the engine of all human endeavors: incentives. Ask yourself, would you be more motivated to act if the outcome meant gaining millions, or if it meant saving just a few bucks? Naturally, the prospect of a substantial win is more enticing, and that's precisely why the majority often finds itself on the losing side. Let's say you are very idealistic. You follow this channel after all, so you care. You decide to spend time to get informed, spread your knowledge, convince people to take action, and organize some kind of campaign to mobilize even more people and eventually march in the streets. Let's say you are successful and politicians stop the initiative. Congratulations, you just saved $30. Everybody saved $30. You are a true hero. Or you might just be a fool. That time could have been spent in much more productive ways. For example, watching our videos. This colossal infrastructure project may be a massive expense. However, when divided among millions, it becomes insignificant. But flip the script. If you're the owner of a construction company, convincing the government to extract just a tiny dollar from millions of people could earn you millions. Now that's an incentive that turns the tide. The cost of convincing politicians becomes a small investment with a substantial return. Now you might think, wait a moment, that's not a flaw of democracy. It's up to us to elect moral politicians, good, uncorruptible men who carry out the will of the people. Valid point. However, ponder this. What assurance do we have that the majority wouldn't exploit the government in a similar manner? For example, by taking productive people's wealth for selfish gain, and label it moral redistribution to help the poor.
Poor me.
Sound familiar? Of course it does. You might not care about the rich, and that's fine, but here's the snag. The wealthy have infinite ways to avoid taxation. If those options were eliminated, it would be even worse. They might just pack up and leave the country. At that point, you would find yourself focusing on extracting wealth from less affluent individuals, gradually taking away everybody's incentive to be productive in the first place. The end result? A collective descent into misery. Except for the politicians, of course. So, on one hand, you get the masses drained by hundreds of government initiatives in favor of interest groups. On the other hand, you remain with nothing to drain. No matter how you spin it, democracy seems to create perverse incentives with no clear solution, creating a death spiral that results in a dysfunctional society. Maybe, just maybe, democracy is not the pinnacle of human governance. And that's where the sponsor of the video comes in. Los Propietarios is an anarchist community in Argentina that gives you the opportunity to create a new society and finally escape the matrix. You can get 1,000 square meters of land just by joining. Intrigued? Check them out. Link in the description. As we navigate these complexities, remember, knowledge is power. Share this video, engage in conversations, and explore alternative systems of governance. Stay curious. Question everything.
Pardon me, but that's bullshit. I want to know what's wrong with the street. See, I don't think anything's wrong with the street. I think you're just trying to justify your inflated budgets. What are you, nuts? No, I know how it works. If you don't spend the money you have projected this year, they won't give you the same amount next year. Now, I want you to admit there's nothing wrong with the street.